What's going on, everybody? This is MudFlap from MudFlap Outdoors for the first ever episode of the Broken Down podcast. I'm here with Seth Miles. We know him as Mallard Miles, and ironically, it's funny that we're just starting to do this, but I just got your Snap notification that I'm on your story, so we're already starting out great. The whole idea of this podcast is going to be guest-driven. We're going to talk about anything about life, outdoors, music, wherever it is. We're just really going to get to know our guests. So without further ado, Seth, I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Dude, well, so it's funny. You called me right when you got back in town from NWTF. First off, how was NWTF in Nashville?
Oh, man. There's a couple of different ways you can look at it. It's a blast any way you look at it. From just being around the turkey hunting part of it and being a hunter and just being around everybody and, getting to they have after parties, for Real Tree, Mossy Oak, and stuff like that, man. And it's really awesome for everybody. It's an all-around great deal. And, I couldn't have had a better time, honestly.
So, okay, now I think everyone has to know, and I have to know, how often were you down there at Broadway?
Man, well, you've been down there at Broadway with me, so
I know
that's the main spot we really hit. But man, I went every night.
You went every night. Well, in fairness, like whenever we went out there with John Boy when he played at that songwriters round, got there 10:45, went straight to Broadway, got done at 3-4 in the morning.
Well, that was 10:45 local time.
Yeah.
Now that was 12:45 or 11:45 our time.
Yeah. So it was.
So it was late. We rolled in and we was like, "Hey boys, we about to hit it."
So that's what we did. We went and tore up Broadway. So, but dude, that's freaking awesome. So for people who don't know what NWTF is, and I think you already kind of alluded to it, kind of explain what NWTF is.
So NWTF is the National Wild Turkey Federation, and it's basically an organization that comes together for turkey hunting and turkey hunters, the land, preserving and conservation and stuff like that. And it brings along, getting to have these sports shows, what it is, conventions, and brings everybody together. Everybody you can buy a booth, and go up there and if you got a brand and promote your brand. So that's what it's about. But NWTF is focused on turkey hunting. It's almost identical to Ducks Unlimited, but for turkey. So that's what it's about. And the NWTF convention in Nashville is the biggest one. So it was a crazy experience, but that's what it is. It kind of is just a thing to get everybody together and get on board for conservation and helping the turkeys. That's what it is.
So remind me, was it held at Opryland Hotel?
Yeah.
That's a fancy hotel.
Yeah.
I was about to say I stayed there a few times whenever I worked in athletics, and it's I literally got lost every time I went in there and walked around.
So this was my first time ever going.
Really?
To Opryland or NWTF, which was this past weekend. I've never been. I'm a turkey hunter. I'm not really one to necessarily get into all these shows and stuff like that. But with everything we got going on, I kind of, I have to go and show my face and network with people and do that way. But man, it was awesome. Opryland, if you hadn't been, is just an incredible place. As soon as you walk in the doors, it's the inside, basically big garden they have. And then the sports show was out in the big, I guess, convention part, you want to call it.
Right.
But it's awesome.
So you talked about networking. How much networking did you do personally?
Oh man, it was. Golly, I talked to dozens of people. All the way from new startup people with their businesses or brands or whatever, all the way to Michael Waddell with Bone Collector, which was awesome getting to meet those guys. Philip Culpepper, Eddie Salter. He's one of the oldest ones in the game. Eddie Salter, the turkey man. So it was really cool getting to meet those guys. Of course, the Woodhaven guys. They're call makers from way back. And then, of course, the Migra guys and Indian Creek Turkey Chokes. I got to do a lot of networking and talk to these people and really get a feel for, how do they really feel about turkey hunting, or are they just selling a brand, or what, So it was a good deal.
No, and that's definitely good. And it's interesting that you went out there because you actually have your own brand, Mallard Miles Waterfowl. Explain that. How did that come about?
Man, I'll tell you what, I've always wondered how I was going to explain this when I got on a podcast or drop the videos for it, but I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet. But I was actually in high school, and of course Duck Dynasty had just come out, and there wasn't a lot of duck hunters around here in Alabama for us. I mean, you'd have a few guys that would go hunt wood ducks with their family, their dads or whatever. But duck hunting really wasn't that big, and then Duck Dynasty come out, and everybody decided they wanted to be a duck hunter. Well, I was hanging out with my friends one night, and the Duck Dynasty come on, and we was all just watching TV or whatever, and it was funny because one of my friends looked over at me, and they were just like, "We're gonna start calling you Mallard," and I was like, "What?" And they said, "Yeah, Mallard Miles," and I was like, I mean, in my mind, I was like, well, daggone, this really ain't the bad, bad nickname. This ain't the worst that could have happened, you know?
No, exactly.
And then it kind of just stuck. It was a joke. It was funny, and it stuck. And people legitimately started calling me that. And I was like, man, this is actually pretty neat, because I love duck hunting. I duck hunted before the Duck Dynasty stuff, and I was one of the only duck hunters around here. So then throughout the years, man, ever since I was a little kid, man, all I've ever wanted to do is do something with the outdoor industry, whether it was with somebody or with another brand or whatever. Because when I was a little kid, I didn't wake up and watch cartoons, and like the other kids, and I never played video games. I would get up and I'd watch my dad's VHS tapes. Remember those?
Yeah.
I'd get up and watch those of Primos hunting or Bone Collector, Real Tree, whatever it was. And I just was so intrigued by it because I loved hunting so much, and I knew those guys enjoyed it that much too. So I've always wanted to do something. And I throughout the years, I was looking for a name, and I just, nothing would click. Nothing stuck. I had so many years that I wanted to pursue this, and I just couldn't come up with a name. I know that sounds crazy because it's like, man, you could have come up with anything. But something had to click. I had to feel it. And then one day I was like, there's so many years that I've let go by because I didn't have a name, And one day I was just like, my name. Right. I'm just going to use my name. I mean, people already know it, and I want it to be like, hey, it's not Mallard Miles like it's me. It's Mallard Miles like, hey, the ducks, they migrate. Mm-hmm. So think about all the miles that they take to get from Canada all the way down, to the Gulf of Mexico. That's Mallard Miles there. That's what it is. And and when you're hunting, not only mallards but just ducks in general, they migrate, man. So that was the gist of it. And that's really how it came about. And now we're, we have cameramen and get to go out and hunt and film, and have a really good time. So hopefully it just progresses and gets better throughout the years.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's funny, as I was prepping for this a couple days ago, after we kind of set the date and everything to do this, I go back to the time that I think really you and me really first met, and it was the Doug Stone concert in Dadeville, Alabama, when John Boy opened for us. That was a wild night too.
That was back in our younger years, exactly. We don't need to tell the whole story about that.
We were all 21. Yeah,
that's it.
But I remember the conversation that you had, and that, or actually really we had, and you were talking about like, man, like one day I want you to film my hunts, and one day I want you to do this. That like I believe you when you sat there and said growing up that's what you wanted to do was anything in the outdoor industry, because you told me that in Dadeville.
Yeah, and that was, that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah, right.
So It's been since I was a little kid, man. I really just didn't know how to go about it because there's nobody from around here that does anything like that.
Right.
Besides, some folks, we have a few people from around here that's done really good, like in the bass tournament trails, like the big bass tournaments. But other than that, nobody's pursued hunting.
Right.
It's just a thing that is, heritage around here, that is culture, but nobody ever wanted to do it any bigger. Now, with that being said, we're right here on the Alabama side of the Chattahoochee. Now, the boys from across the river, that's 30 minutes, that's the Bone Collector boys, that's the Real Tree boys, and they have done it. So trying to basically go in their footsteps, so to speak, because they've already made it.
Right.
And that's what I want to, that's the dream and the career that I'm pursuing.
Dude, absolutely, because every time I see you on social media, by the way, if you hadn't followed Mallard Miles, you got to check him out on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere that you can, on every social media. Seth Miles, Mallard Miles, you got to follow him.
You can't miss it. It's Mallard Miles or Mallard_Miles. Nobody else has that name, which is one of the good things. It's like you don't have to question that because nobody's going to put on there Mallard Miles.
Right.
And I don't think I'm to that point yet where somebody's trying to make fake accounts, so we're good.
Yeah, but it's interesting because every time I see you, you're constantly in the woods. You're constantly doing something. Half the time I see you, you're passing the pyramid in Memphis going to Arkansas.
Yeah, I tell you what, Arkansas has become my second home. And everybody knows it.
Really?
They kind of just wonder. It's not when I'm leaving. It's when am I going to be home from Arkansas. Right. Arkansas is a very special place to me now, for sure. But yeah, I love being out on the road, being in the woods. Everybody knows that. And there's one thing that I have told a lot of my close buddies or anybody that cares to know and get deeper with me and wanting to know me. And this one thing that's going to be until the end of time, the good Lord willing, letting me stay here and pursue this dream, is that no matter what happens with the brand, no matter what happens with us, I'm going to hunt regardless. I don't care about being famous. I don't care about any of the money or anything like that. I just want to hunt.
Right.
So the reason I want to do what I'm doing is I love it so much. I want other people to have an opportunity to see it, and it takes me back when we were in Dayville that night. I was like, man, I knew you were in filming. I think this was before you got with Auburn, right?
Yeah, well, I think it was right around the time. I think I just... No,
you might have just told me that night that you were going there.
Yeah.
So I just remember I was like, man, he's right here. He might be able to do this career with me, even though he don't want to be in the woods, so to speak,
right.
Every day hunting, because, he's all about just the hanging out, just being there. Right. But me, I'm the hardcore hunter.
Yeah.
But if I can get in there, and of course our paths kind of, went separate ways, and that was okay. But now we kind of got back. It's funny how the Lord works, man.
Yeah, dude. It's literally full circle.
Yeah, we come back. And it's like, hey, man, I got all this experience. I know what's going on now. And I got, obviously, throughout the years, it don't matter what you do, you're going to get better if you pay attention.
Right.
And now here we are, and it's like, let's see if we can make something happen. So now, man, I'm excited. Dude, I know you are too.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm literally having you here because, again, ironically, I had to give a lot of credit to you about me starting this podcast because I saw you on one of those nights at Moe's Bent Creek. Saw you. I was like, hey, and then we started talking, and you brought up a podcast trying to start one. I go, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I'm like, I took your idea and I said, hey, I'm going to run with it. I know how to do it. I know how to.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, like it's there.
Yeah. It ain't, I think a lot of people, not stepping on anybody's toes, because I'm not at all. I feel like some people try to do stuff like this just to get the viewers, just to get the money, just to get the popularity. That's not what either one of us are doing. We're sitting here just because we want to share what's going on with us with other people. And, man, I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
But now it's like we have John Boy as well. John Boy's not with us today. He will be on another one, I'm sure, here pretty soon. But with him doing music, me doing the hunting deal, and then you, of course, with we hadn't told anybody yet, I guess, talked about MudFlap.
No, we hadn't yet.
With MudFlap Outdoors, you know, just the whole entirety of being outdoors, not just hunting. It's, you know, what's going on when you ain't hunting, you know?
No, exactly. And that's the thing. Whenever I started, I always eat dinner with my buddy on Tuesday nights, and we kind of joke, and he's kind of like the chief marketing officer of MudFlap Outdoors, and it's always over like a beer or a Moscow Mule or a old fashioned, whatever it is, and he kept asking me. He was like, "What is MudFlap Outdoors?" I said, "Man, I want people just to be outside. I don't care. Obviously, we're inside right now because it's dark. You know, we all have to work. But man, like as much as you can be outside, and especially it's warming up. First off, I sound like crap because the weather is changing and allergy season is upon us. So,
so
I'm
you give me another week when I actually get out there in the turkey woods. Yeah, y'all gonna be like, who is this guy talking on the phone?
Dude, it's so bad because like I'm like doped up on Mucinex right now. Like I woke up this morning. And I texted my buddy, and I was like, "Hey, man, like I can't go work out." And this is 5:30 in the morning. I said, "I can't go work out this morning." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Well, I feel like I'm on my deathbed because I'm like drinking Mucinex at this point. Because I mean, my throat was sore, my eyes were allergies were awful. So then after I did that, slept some more, I was fine. But it was not good this morning."
Oh man, I'm sure it's probably gonna be catching up with me here in a week or two when I really get out there in the woods. You know, all the new blooms and the pollen and everything. You know, it's all probably gonna get to me. But I've been good so far, so
well,
I can handle the cold. You know, being a duck hunter.
Right.
So.
I was about to say more power to you on that. I love the cold, but I kind of am okay with it warming up because that means it's starting to be like lake season, going outside and literally just being outside on a boat, you know, drinking a few brewskis out there, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, when it's February and somebody's already talking about the lake, I'm right there with you, but hey, you got to hold up the buggy. We got to get through turkey season.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm always like, hey, y'all got to calm down. Let me get my turkey season before y'all get out on the boat because I can't do them at the same time.
Right.
You know?
See, and the crazy thing about it is I've been hunting a few times when in my younger days, but I'll tell you this hunting story, and it's funny. And this was like the last time I said, you know what, I throw my hands up, I'm out. So it was like youth weekend. It was me and my dad. We were at his friend's hunting land. And their hunting land, their motto is like, hey, like if it's brown, it's down. That's kind of the motto, you know, obviously within all the regulations and everything. But obviously for youth weekend, they're like, no bucks, only does. Well, we saw this massive one walk across, and my dad's like, can't shoot it. I go, that's the only one we're going to see. I already know it. And sure enough, that was the only one we saw. On the way home, like the next day, he said, we probably should have shot it. And I was like, no.
Oh, that'll get you every time. And and sometimes you never know whether your dad's being serious or not. And you're like, are you being serious or because I need to know how I need to feel about this. My emotions are going crazy.
Oh,
right
dude!
now.
After that, I said I ain't going hunting. I said that just ruined it for me. See, for me, I love fishing. I love fishing all day, every day. I can do catfish, bass. I wanted to do deep sea fishing. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Which, when you say that, it's like almost crazy to me that you're saying that in general, being friends with me and John Boy.
Yeah,
because John Boy's dad has always had boats.
I know.
In the Gulf of Mexico.
See, I didn't know that until we were down there at that in Panama City doing the music video.
Doing the music video.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
We grew up down there, you know, going miles off the coast, and I got to where, and John Boy really did too, got to where we was like, we're not deep sea fishermen. We don't care about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens to a lot of people in the outdoors as well. You know, they go at a young age, and not that it gets pushed down their throat, but they have it open to them, and it's like they get to choose whether they like it or not. And that's what happened to us fishing. It's like, hey, we've done it, and
we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We don't want to do it no more.
Yeah,
because it's a different beast out there in the ocean.
Oh, it is.
You know, once you're out there fishing, you're out there fishing until you get back. You know, you're on that boat.
I know,
and it don't matter what the seas look like. You got to deal with it.
I was about to say, and hopefully you get back hopefully you don't run out of gas or anything crazy like that.
Man, I tell you what, those guys like John Boy's dad, for instance, when we were out there younger doing that, it's like in the back of my mind, I was like, how does he know that we got enough gas to get out there and get back? Because, I mean, we went miles.
Yeah.
You can't even see the little tips of the big skyscrapers, the
high-risers.
The high-rise hotels and stuff. They're gone. I mean, it is ocean as far as you can see, all the way around you, 360. And then I'm like, how do they know which way we're facing?
Pure luck at this point.
Yeah, I was like, all of my trust, everything that I know is in my uncle's hands right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I mean, you get 10, 15 beers deep, and you're like, I don't, we're just hoping, at this point.
No, yeah. No,
but we had a good time, but we just found out that, or I did for sure, and I'll stick to it. Deep sea fishing is not for me.
It's not for you. Hey, you know what? I mean, it is for some people. It is for, and hunting's more for other people, So sometimes, and it's interesting because obviously, like you look at like the real trees, they have real tree hunting, which has all the camos and all that. Then you have the real tree fishing, and it has all the fishing gear and all that. So I mean, it's literally two different lifestyles. It really is.
Oh yeah, and I tell you what, those brands like that, the real tree and Mossy Oak and the brands like that, man, they're monster brands. And they hit the nail on the head because they were able to branch off and cover all that ground. So, which by the way, it'll actually probably be next week. We'll have the turkey hunt edition of Mallard Miles come out. It'll be Mega Strut with Mallard Miles
really
come out. Yep. So pretty excited for that. It'll be here just in time for turkey season. So really, really excited to get that going.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Well, so, I mean, as we kind of wrap up the first episode here is, what's next for Mallard Miles? I know you're talking about turkey hunting. Like what's happening?
Man, I tell you what, we've gotten. When I say we, it's not a team. It's me, and then I have a really good a team of camera guys and editors, which is, such as yourself, that I've learned a lot. Being able to go out of state and hunt, back and forth between Arkansas and home, or Montana and home, Mississippi a little bit. Basically, what I've learned, what I'm going to do for this upcoming year is we're going to have pretty much a mapped out schedule for duck season. We're going to chase them from, north up there in Montana, the Dakotas. And we're gonna ride with them down as that weather, changes throughout the winter, through November to the end of January, and really film hard and just be out there with them. Man, we hunt over 60 days. You have over 60 days of hunting if you go from Canada down. So we're planning on doing that, and then rolling into turkey season, which is still the brand Mallard Miles. It's just going to be Mega Strut with Mallard Miles. So basically what I want to do is my love for duck hunting and my love for turkey hunting is just that's my main two deals. And what I want to do is get everything that I can content wise to show people what really happens. I want to show them the reality of what's going on. We're not out here on guided hunts. This is most of the time it's going to be public. Around here, around home, we have land to hunt on. But show people the reality. We're not going out. We don't have a whole bunch of money to go out there and pay $3,000 to shoot one animal for one day or whatever. And then just have the reality there, but with the new school vibes, because things have changed. It's not old school anymore. But we still, we keep the old school morals, I guess you should say. But other than that, we're on the move with that way. And also we ended up finally getting our first sponsor.
Okay.
And getting hooked up with Miger. They're giving us a shot. We're going to be shooting their first edition of TSS Turkey Load this year.
Nice.
So they just dropped that last week, and man, you talking about some hard hitting shells.
Really?
So I'm extremely excited to shoot a turkey with it.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Seth, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, but I appreciate being on the first edition, being here with me. we're definitely going to have to do this a lot more often.
Oh,
I mean, we're having a great time.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it for sure. We're going to get you out there in the woods as well.
Oh, dude, I would love to see that.
So we've already talked about that,
yeah.
and I'm excited to get you out there, and we're going to do some stuff with MudFlap Outdoors and have a good time.
Dude, I'm all in. Well, Seth, again, I appreciate it. If y'all hadn't followed him, Seth, go on and do a shameless plug about where people can reach out to you, follow you, TikTok, all that good stuff.
So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook is going to be Seth Miles, but TikTok and Instagram is mainly what I do. I would say most of the hunting is going to be on my Instagram because we can't put it out on TikTok, but it'll be Mallard_Miles or Mallard Miles Waterfowl, either one of those. Can't miss it. As soon as you type in Mallard_ Mallard M, whatever, it's gonna pop up. So y'all just go follow that and help me out, and y'all get to see some cool hunts and get to be a part of it. We also have that link, and anything that y'all go to, we'll have the store link on the bio. So y'all just go check that out, and we got all the new merch up already. So that's it.
There you go. Seth, again, as I said it about 5 times before, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for listening to the Broken Down podcast presented by MudFlap Outdoors. Like I said, Seth, we're going to have you on many times.
Oh, I'm ready, man. Ready. As long as y'all can catch me at the house.
Exactly. Keep on keeping on, everybody.
All right, appreciate it, man.